Hello Warriors, and today we're going to start making the pinch pot. So to start with, I'm going to talk about some of the things you're going to need. So the first thing you're going to need, of course, is your clay. The second thing is, after you start working on this, depending on where you finish, you're going to want to continue working on it. So what are you going to do to keep your clay wet? And so if it still fits in the bag, that's awesome when you get done working with it. If it doesn't fit in the bag anymore, which once you get started it probably won't, the things you're going to need are you're going to need a plate. You can use a paper plate, a regular plate, just a plate or something to put it on. Then you can either use one of two things. You can use a paper towel. So I got a paper towel right here. And what you would do is you would put this paper towel in water and just get it damp and set it on top of here. Or I have a washcloth, and this washcloth, it's just I wet it down, squeeze the water out so it's really damp still. And I would put the washcloth on top of the clay that I'm still working on. And then a plastic bag. And it can be any bag, so if you have a bag left over from a store or something, or this is just a small garbage bag, but a plastic bag. And what you're going to wind up doing then is you're going to put your clay inside the bag, kind of wrap the extra pieces underneath the plate, and then it should be good to go till next time you work on it. So again, the things you're just going to need: plastic bag, a wet washcloth or some sort of cloth that's either damp, or you can just use, again, paper towel that's you're just going to rinse in water real quick and squeeze the water out. It's just have it damp, so it's not soaking, but you want it nice and damp. And a plate or something to put it on. So that's what you're going to need for storing the clay so it stays dry, or stays wet and workable. A couple other things you're going to need is I got some slip here, and it's just in a cup. And you can see it's not a lot. It's just a very little bit of water. And then I took the ball of clay we were observing last week and put it inside the water to make some slip. So I got the slip, got the clay, and a couple other things that are kind of nice to have is I just grabbed a fork and a butter knife. Use whatever you have. A popsicle stick works. Sometimes if you might have a toothpick, a pencil, sometimes just whatever you have laying around the house that you can kind of use to kind of help out. So those are the different kind of tools I'm going to use. Hopefully you have a place to work. I got my wife's cutting board, which she'll probably be a little upset with me about, but I'll clean it up afterwards. Then what also works good is if you don't want to make a mess, just a regular newspaper. You can throw this on newspaper too, and it won't stick to the surface, just to keep it from making too much of a mess. So I got my ball of clay. Now the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to make, before I get started here, I want to kind of figure out what kind of pinch pot I'm going to make. And I think for this one, what I would like to do is I'd like to make a pumpkin. So I drew a little picture of a pumpkin, and because it's October, I would see what would it take to make a pinch pot pumpkin, and how would I go about making it. So for this this video, I'm gonna make a pinch pot pumpkin. So number one thing to make this pinch pot pumpkin, I'm gonna need to get the shape of the pumpkin, and to do that, I'm gonna start out by I'm gonna cut this clay in half, or you can just use your hands, just break it in half. And I got one section for the top of the pumpkin, one section for the bottom of the pumpkin. So now I'm going to roll this. Should be it was all wedged before you got it, so if it's not too much, you want to roll it out, wedge it, make sure there's no air bubbles in, which I know there isn't already. But roll it out, get into a nice round shape again. So it's a nice sphere. Okay, so now I have it into like a nice little circle. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to push down in the middle of the circle, or you can use your pointer finger, and you're going to go about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way down. Just like that. Now, this is why they call it a pinch pot. The next part is to like make it, to make the walls of it. And for that, I'm going to put my thumb in the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 2 fingers and I'm just going to pinch. I'm going to slowly go around pinching. And as I do that, the walls are getting thinner. Again, have my thumb in the middle, 2 fingers on top, just kind of pinching and pulling it into the shape that I want. You can see right here, it's kind of getting like the initial part of the shape for my pumpkin. So to make a pumpkin, I want you to make you got one half of it. I'm going to take the other ball and I'm going to do the top part, or the bottom part, depends. I'm going to do the same thing, where I'm going to make it back into a sphere. And then using my thumb to go right in the center, or your pointer finger. I'm using my pointer finger to start out, then I'll move my thumb in. Going about 3/4 of the way down, and putting your thumb in, and then using your fingers to do the pinching. And you slowly go around. The pinch pot. And I want the thickness to be about, about the size of my pinky. I don't want to be any bigger than my pinky. It can be a little bit thinner if you want, but not too much thinner. So now I have a bottom and a top that I'm going to make for my jack-o'-lantern here. And I can see the top, this one's a little bit thinner, so let's make this a little wider. Okay, now the next part then is I'm going to want to attach these 2 pieces together. And to do that, I'm going to score and slip. So I'm going to use this my fork right here, and let's make a bunch of tick marks. I gotta make this one a little bit too. And then I'm going to add some tick marks with my fork. Little scoring scrapes all the way around the side. Now I'm going to go through and add the slip, which is the clay water. I can just use my finger for it. You can use a brush for it if you want to. There's different ways to do it, but I'll just get that slip. Around the sides. Then I'll attach the top and the bottom piece. And then I'll smooth it together. Now from here, the butter knife kind of works out. You can just use the butter knife to take it, smooth it right over that where the two pieces come together. Another thing that works so well, like here's you can use like a ID card or a driver's license or a debit card or something like that. This is a video game card. You go into arcade. And I'm just going to kind of smooth all this. Now there's one big hollow. Hollowed out sphere. So now thinking about pumpkins, pumpkins usually have little like kind of like lines on them or the grooves on them. So from here, I'm going to use a toothpick, but I mean anything will work. You could continue using the butter knife. You could use I think to make these little lines, or you could even use a pencil. So I'm going to do, it's a thing I'm going to have. This side right here is where I think I'll put the face on. So I'm just going to start out by making some little texture lines. And I typically go to the pumpkin patch and get a pumpkin each year, especially since my kids are born. And there is no such thing as a perfect pumpkin. So usually there's a little bit of everything in nature's got, a little bit bigger on one side or some imperfections. So don't worry about trying to make your pumpkin perfect. So I got my rough places where the lines are going to be. These are kind of coming up to a point. Then I can go through and any spot where it's like rough, you can just take a little bit of water, smooth it out. Let's start out by making some eyes. So you got an eyeball right here. Then I'll save this piece of clay, which I'll wind up using to make the stem on top. And do the same thing on the other side. Making a little eyeball. Then I can do a little nose. Much for the nose, I'll just do a triangle. And I can do the mouth. Now with this extra clay I got from the mouth, the nose, the eyes, what I'm going to do is I can use that, kind of make a little stem on the very top. So just roll a little flat stem. Then the same thing, I'll grab that fork. I'll kind of score it up a little bit. Kind of score up the very top of this right here. And I can dip that into the slip and attach it right to the very top. And kind of smooth it right into the sides. So this is the starting part, and now there's a lot of like different textures and things I want to put on here. But I think I'm going to let it dry a little bit and come back more when it's leather hard to hold its form better. But one thing you could do if like you wanted to say, maybe you might want to open this up to put a candle or something inside it. To do that, you just kind of make a little, right on the very top, you can cut into it. And that will be the top to take it, put it on and off. So I think I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to add some detail. I'm going to hang on to these pieces right here. These pieces of leftover clay, because I think I can maybe throw some teeth on here, maybe even some horns. So now it's as it's getting ready to clean up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab a little paper plate or something to set this on, or a board. Put it right on the board plate. Then you're either going to use paper towels, wet washcloth, something. This is just a slightly damp cloth. And I'll put it inside. The bag, and then I think I'm going to come back tomorrow or the next day and add some details to this thing, add some horns, add some teeth, start smoothing it out. Hopefully at that point it holds its form a little bit better, so it's not moving around as much, and then go from there. Thanks.